Hi everyone and welcome to my morning report analysis videos with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets on Friday 20th of April. Let's talk about a couple of key factors today that we've got going on in the markets. We've got bond yields which are rising sharply. That is helping to drive the dollar higher. Now these bond yields have really sort of accelerated higher as the commodities story has played a key role in this sort of driving potential inflation coming further down the line, and also the continued sort of settling down of risk appetite really from the issues that we've previously been dogged the market, and that 10-year yield is interesting because look at the 10-year versus the 2-year. 2-year yield hasn't really moved that much higher, and look at the rebound that we've seen on the yield spreads, which suggests a small tightening, a steepening of the yield curve, and that is helping to drive the dollar higher near term. And that is certainly impacting across markets. And also, we've had the re-emergence of Mark Carney as the unreliable boyfriend. He gave an interview to the BBC yesterday, sort of seemingly sort of dialing back on previous comments that a May rate hike was probably sort of not necessarily to be expected now by the market, and subsequently we've seen a sharp reversal in interest rate expectations for the UK. Previously this week they had been up around 80%. Now they're at around about 40%, apparently. So what we've got is sterling, which has fallen sharply. So that is another key factor that is playing into these markets, and that is sort of impacting in the fact that FTSE 100 is outperforming today. Now FTSE 100 is sort of up about 0.4%, 0.3, 0.4, and the rest of the markets are basically flat. We had Wall Street that was down last night, but futures are a little bit lower today. The Asian markets sort of were mildly lower overnight, but these European markets have sort of settled a little bit, but UK outperforming there. Dollar is pretty much positive across the board, and that weakness on sterling continues. Now this is interesting. Canadian dollar out mildly actually outperforming the dollar, so watch out for that through the day. But the other commodity currencies are certainly not. They are lower. Gold is lower on that stronger dollar, and the oil price has also just started to tick a bit lower. So you can see that in this chart here, where the oil price has come off the highs at a touch, but nothing really significant yet. So that's what we're seeing today. Now we've got a little bit of data. We've got Canadian CPI at 130. Expected to tick higher to 2.4%, and the Eurozone consumer confidence. Now this is interesting because if I can get my chart up in time, I can show you. Please work. Quite often doesn't. Actually, no, it's not going to work. It shows the Eurozone consumer confidence ticking back down to negative now. It's been positive for about 3 or 4 months, I think. It's actually going to go back negative again, which is interesting. So we've got that this afternoon, but we've also got 3 central bankers. We've got Saunders, Weidman and Williams of the Bank of England, ECB and FOMC, all speaking today, all leaning hawkish. So let's watch out for comments from that. Will Saunders what sort of comments will he make given Mark Carney's comments of yesterday? So we could see some interesting moves again this morning on FTSE. Now my chart today is the Canadian loonie, which has had a bit of an unwinding move since the Bank of Canada decision earlier this week. But as I said just now, the Canadian loonie is sort of beginning to sort of settle a little bit. It had a couple of strong candles in a row rallying this dollar CAD level back to this downtrend. Now what does happen at this downtrend? Now that will be the interesting move, because we have got a tick higher on the stochastics, but not really sort of shown through yet on the RSI, which is still in the mid 40s, and the MACD lines as well. So is this a selling opportunity? I tend to think it is on the dollar CAD, because I think ultimately the dollar will be going back lower from this rally. I think it's going to be used as a dollar chance to sell in due course. And subsequently, I think we're going to see the Canadian loonie strengthening once again, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out through today, as I said, because we've got the Canadian loonie, which currently is slightly stronger than the dollar, pulling dollar CAD lower. Now, we have got a pivot around 26.50. I'll show you here on the daily chart. It's sort of not massively accurate, but it is a key factor and sort of played a role back in September, supportive November, December, became resistance sort of in February, and it sort of is, I think, a level that the market could be looking out for. So the fact is that we've sort of rallied back towards that level. As I said, it's not sort of entirely accurate to the pip, but it is a basis. So we're back at that level now. So how the market reacts around this level would be interesting. Now, sort of it's rallied yesterday and consolidated since then. So it'd be interesting to see if the market starts to sort of roll over. There is a mild positive configuration on the hourly momentum, reflective of this little rebound that we've seen. But yeah, as I said, I think anything that this sort of gives you a recovery in dollar CAD, I think it's still likely to be seen as a selling opportunity. But it'd be interesting to see how the market reacts today and also on Monday because of this downtrend. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you later.